What's up everyone, Javi here, the second half of Javi and Joe on the Go, and today you're only getting me, sorry. As a lot of you know, we love documenting our travels and then posting them on YouTube, and it's become quite the passion of mine to edit videos. Aside from being on location and learning how to use the camera, I love all that, but editing has become probably my favorite thing of the whole process. Today, that's actually what we're gonna do. I'm gonna walk you guys through basic video editing. If you're into documenting your footage and taking video, but you just don't know how to put it all together, hopefully this will help you out. Today we're gonna be using Final Cut Pro, and it's actually a Mac only software. If you don't have a Mac, there are plenty of other tutorials out there that use Premiere. I just happen to use Final Cut for Mac. So that's what we're going to use today. You can actually download Final Cut Pro for a 3-month free trial, and I'll leave the link to that in the description below. So go ahead and download that now if you want to follow along. This video is solely going to focus on very basic editing tools in Final Cut. Despite it being a video about Final Cut, a lot of the softwares that you're going to use have the same basic principles about cutting, so it might be useful to you. So let's go ahead and get started. As soon as you download Final Cut Pro, you'll see it in your applications folder. But before we even do that, I like to get organized. So I'm going to go over to my external hard drive. I like to keep all my files and stuff on external hard drives. That way I just keep my computer nice and clean. And this is just a folder filled with clips of that day when we went to El Salto waterfall. It's just tons and tons of footage. So what I like to do is create a separate folder, and I've named this one tutorial clips, and this is just a smaller number of clips, so it's just easier to work with. So now we can open up Final Cut. You can go to your launch pad, open it up, or you can just save it to your dock. So as soon as you open it up, you're gonna see this thing called Open Library. And I've already created a library, but I'm gonna walk you through how to do it. So you go to New, and then you're going to type in whatever you want, the name of the video that you're making. I've already created one called Travel Video Tutorial right here. So I'm going to cancel this and just open up the one I already have. So the library is just where all your information of the project is being kept. Over here you're going to see my library, Travel Video, and then all the clips. So I've already imported all the clips, but I'm going to show you how to do that. You just go over to Import Media, and then go over to wherever you have your clips saved. I have mine on the external hard drive called Editing. So hit Editing, and then there's the folder, Tutorial Clips, and that's all my files right here. And so you can select them one by one and import them, or you can just hit Command A, and that'll select them all, and you hit Import All. I've already imported them, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to exit out. But once you import them all, they should all appear right here in order by date. Okay, so after that, you're going to want to create a project. So you're going to go to File, New, and then Project. And then you're going to name it whatever you want. Travel tutorial, travel video tutorial. I'm not going to teach you how to travel. Okay, and then you're going to go to, there's tons of options here, but we're going to focus on the most basic things. So video, right now it's in 4K. And then on one of the recent updates of Final Cut, they added vertical, which is pretty cool. So it'll give you a timeline ready to upload to your stories or IGTV, Instagram, and then a square, of course, just a basic square, and just hit OK. It already says that I have a project named this, so it won't let me save it, but that won't be a problem for you. I've already created a project up here, Travel Video Tutorial, and as you can see, there's the timeline. It's a completely blank timeline. So this video is going to focus on very basic tools that I use in Final Cut. So in order to establish where we are, we're going to start with text. So you can see 3 icons here. The first one is where our library is and all our clips. The second one is where all your sound effects are in case you ever need that. Balloon pop. It's pretty cool stuff. But we're not going to use that today. We're looking for the third one. It says show or hide the titles and generators sidebar. So this is where your titles are. You have tons and tons of titles, 3D titles, just a number of titles. So we're going to look for one called, well, here's basic. Basic will just be your basic text. Let's look for one called, oh here, blur. So this is one of my favorites. It just kind of like blurs in and blurs out. So I'm going to drag that over to the timeline. And that's one of the cool things about Final Cut. It's so intuitive. Just drag and drop basically. So let's drag the title over to the timeline. Once you're in your timeline, you can make it bigger or smaller just by doing this little gesture here. So let's go ahead and make it bigger by dragging this way. And see, now it's so big. So let's do less. There we go, that's easy to work with. So right now you can see that this title is about 4 seconds long. You can see up at the timeline here. No, about 5 seconds long. So let's leave that there for now. So let's change the text. So the way to do that is you select the clip, you go over to the text inspector. There we go. And now you can see text here. Now you can change it with a custom title. So the place that we visited was El Salto Waterfall in San Luis Potosi. So that's exactly what I'm gonna write. Let's make it all caps. El Salto Waterfall. And then on the next line, San Luis Potosi. And then Mexico. There we go. And I'm not a huge fan of this font, so I'm going to change that. Just look for font, and all the fonts that are on your laptop or your computer are going to appear here. Oh, I'm kind of a fan of the thin text. There we go. And it's too small, so I'm going to increase the size. Just slide the slider. Slide the slider. There we go. And then it's not centered, so it does a pretty good job at telling you where the center is. Just go over to the text itself and move it until there. And that's pretty good. And of course, there's tons of customization tools within the text. You can go down to rotation and it'll rotate it. It's kind of a cool effect. I'm not going to do that. Oh, if you ever make a mistake, same with Microsoft Word or Photoshop, anything like that, you can undo. So just Command Z to undo. So let's say I mess something up really bad. No, that's not good. So I'm going to hit Command Z and Command Z again, and there, we're back to, we save our lives. Okay, so that's good there. Alright, so now it kind of builds in too fast. So another cool feature is that you can go over to the title inspector, and then you're gonna look for, again, there's tons of customization, but let's look for in duration. So that's how long it takes for the text to come in. So let's increase that and let's see how that looks. So one way to preview your timeline is to just hit play here, but I never do that. Just hit the space bar. If you hit the space bar, it'll start playing. And so that looks pretty good, but I don't want it to build out. So what I can do here is I'm gonna go back to the inspector and uncheck build out. So after that, it just cuts. So now probably the most important part of video editing for me is the music. It basically inspires how the video is gonna go, the flow of it, and I just cannot edit without music first. So let's get some music. I've been using Epidemic sound and it's the best. And I'm not sponsored or anything, but I'll leave the link in the description. And if you use the link, you'll get a free month of Epidemic sound, which is pretty cool. And I'll get a small commission as well if you end up signing up later. It doesn't cost you anything more, it just kind of helps the channel out. So let's go to epidemicsound.com and Oh, so one new feature of this is that it kind of like goes through your channel and sees what music you've been using, and it kind of like recommends songs for you, which is pretty cool. But let's go over to genres. You can see there's different types: rock, classical, etc. And then you can search by moods: happy, epic, dreamy, or just search something that you're looking for. Travel. Let's look for travel. Okay, so a bunch of albums pop up here. Travel beats, travel vlog. I already have a couple songs in mind, so let's just use those. So I'm gonna exit out of here, go back to where all my clips are, and the songs should be at the bottom here. Okay, so here, Calling Me is one of my favorite songs from there. So it starts with like a nice wind. It sounds pretty cool. So let's listen to that. Alright, so now I want to cut the text as soon as the music starts. So the way to do that is you can either go to the end of the clip and you can drag it back. You can make this as long or short as you like. We can drag it back. Another cool thing about Final Cut Pro is that it shows the waveforms, the sound waves of all the songs. So you can kind of see here that that's about where the music starts. So I'm gonna go there and I'm gonna drag it to about there. So let's see how that looks. Alright, that's pretty cool. So because there's wind, I think this would be a cool way to open with a nice drone shot. Of course, if you don't have a drone, you can still make amazing videos. It just happens to be one of the clips I have. Final Cut makes it really easy to sift through the footage really fast. So all you have to do is drag your mouse over it and it'll just search through it. Okay, so let's drag that clip into the timeline. Again, just drag and drop. And so let's look for a part of the clip that I want to cut. So again, I'm just zooming out because the clip is really long. And okay, so this is pretty cool right here. So again, you can drag it like this, or a much faster way is to use the blade tool. The blade tool is probably one of the most used tools in Final Cut. And the way to do that is bring the timeline thing here to where you want to cut, and then you're going to select the clip and you're going to hit Command B and see how it cuts it right there. So now all you have to do is delete the part that you don't need. So I don't need this part, so just simply hit delete, and there you go. And so now we're gonna search for the part where I want to cut. So let's go ahead and listen to the music, see where a good cut point is. Okay, so a good cut point is right there where she starts singing. So again, I'm gonna go to the part of the clip where I want to. That sounds kind of cool. Go to the part of the clip. Go to the part of the clip. Okay, ignore me. Go to the part of the clip where you want to cut, and then select the clip again. Hit Command B. There, it blades it, and then delete the part that you don't need. So here's what we have so far. Alright, so that's a good entry point for another clip. There's a clip where Joanne says something like, "This is the bluest water I've ever seen," which is kind of cool. So let's drag that over and let's see where she starts talking about there. And again, you can see the waveform, so it makes it kind of easier to edit. So you can see where someone starts talking or where there's a lot of noise. So let's go there. Okay, you can't really hear Joanne, so this is a good opportunity to show you how to turn down the music in certain points, at certain points. So this feature is a little bit advanced, but I'm showing you guys because it just made my life 10 times easier whenever I found out how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the song and then choose a point where I want the music to start dipping. And the way to do that is hit Option and then click on the part of the song where you want it to start dipping, which is there, and then select where she starts talking, so that way the volume would be down as soon as she starts talking. So there. So now you have 2 points. So now what I'm going to do is drag this last point down to the volume where I want. So let's try -18. Let's see how this sounds.
It's the most turquoise water I've ever seen, guys.
Okay, that's pretty cool there. So now we want the music to come back up. So again, I'm going to make a point where she stops talking, and then another point where I want the music to be at normal level, and then again drag this up to 0. There we go. So let's see how that sounds.
It's the most turquoise water I've ever seen, guys.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So let's look for our next clip. Another feature that's really handy is the fact that you can search really fast just by, I mentioned this before, by dragging your mouse over it. But you see how this is highlighted yellow? You can actually drag this to the point of the clip where you want it to start. So about there. And then drag the end to where you want it to end. So about here. So now when you drag it over, it only drags over the portion of the clip that's selected. So it just makes it a lot faster to edit. So let's see how this looks. Alright, and let's cut it there. Again, Command B. And basically that's what you do for the majority of the time. It's blading and moving and dragging. And so that's how you spend most of your time. This is just where your creativity comes in, listening to the song, seeing the best breaking points, seeing the best way to tell the story of your trip. So I'm just going to drag some more clips in, cut a little bit, and we'll see how it turns out. So this is a part of the video that would be a good opportunity to show you guys some slow motion. So if you have some slow motion clips that you can use, here I have this clip. I recommend that if you guys want to shoot slow motion and you're shooting on your phone, make sure that you're recording at 4K 60. So that's 60 frames per second. So that way when you import it into Final Cut, you're able to slow it down and it looks smooth. So that's what I'm going to do with this clip. So I have this clip here of me jumping into the water. So I wanted to slow it down as soon as my foot's about to leave the rock. It's kind of an advanced feature, but if you know about it, it's going to save you tons of time down the road. So what you're going to do is instead of hitting Command B to blade it, you're going to hit Shift B. So right there where I wanted to start slowing down. So Shift B. So now you're going to see this green appear here. So what does that mean? That means when you see green, that means it's at normal speed, 100%. And so what I want to do is go to the portion of the clip where I want it to be slow. So where I hit the water, there. I kind of want it to be slow up until that point. So what I'm going to do is hit Shift B again. There, that creates a little break here. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and you're going to see that this is at 100%. To slow it down, you're going to make sure that this portion of the clip is selected. To do that, you just have to click on the green portion of it, and then hit the arrow and go to slow, and let's try 25%. Okay, so let's see how this looks. So that's pretty cool. So let's listen to the music, see if that works. Let's bring the volume back up to 0. Let's hear it. so that's pretty cool. And so I actually want it a little bit faster, so I'm gonna shift that up to slow. I'm gonna do 50%. There we go. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so that's pretty good there. So now I'm gonna cut this clip about here where the music drops, where the beat drops, and then let's see if I can find a epic drone shot. Okay, that's pretty cool. So let's drag that over. Okay, that's Joanne just floating. So I want it to begin where it starts rising, so I'm going to delete that, and let's see how this looks. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how, so I showed you how to slow things down, so let's see how we speed things up. I want it to be fast up until this point here. So it's going to be the same concept. Instead of Command B, you're not going to blade it, you're going to Shift B. There we go. Again, this pops up. So select the part of the clip where you want it to be fast. This is useful if you have very long clips and you want to create some sort of time lapse. You can do it this way. So I'm going to select that portion, go to fast, and then let's see, what does 2 times fast look like? Okay, see, that's not that fast, so let's go to 8 times. Okay, that's kind of cool. So let's leave it at 8 times. So this is how it looks so far. Alright, so for time's sake, let's go ahead and kind of end the clip there. It's only a short 15-second clip, but those are perfect for small little clips to upload to Facebook or Instagram. So what we're going to do is select the video clip, hit Command B, and then we're going to delete that part, and then we're going to do the same thing with the music. Command B, and then this is how it sounds. Okay, see, that's very, very abrupt. So what I want to do is fade the music out, and this is really easy. You go to the end of the song, and you're going to drag this little thing kind of far out, so it's a nice slow fade out. Okay, I want it to fade out even more, so I'm going to really drag that over. And then what I want to do also is fade out the video. So a very easy way to do that is you're going to go over to transitions. Transitions you can find over here on the right hand side. Again, like text, there are tons of transitions, but let's go with a basic cross dissolve. So what cross dissolve does is if you have 2 clips, you can drag it over in between them, and it's going to slowly fade between them depending on how fast or slow your transition is. But let's see how this looks. See, I kind of want a hard cut, so I'm not going to use it there. But I also use cross dissolve at the end of clips because I don't have any other clip. It's going to fade to black, so it's going to look like this. Okay, so let's make the music last until there, and then we can just go ahead and cut the rest of this off here. And let's see. Yeah, that's alright. Alright, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to turn down the music. I'm going to hit, you can select a clip and hit V, and that kind of hides it or mutes it temporarily. So that's why it's gone gray. So the next thing that I do is I'm going to color correct a little bit. And this is not necessary, especially if you're using some sort of auto settings in your camera. You can, pretty much auto settings is ready to go. It won't need a lot of color correction, but if you want to tweak it and make it look a little bit more, cinematic, there's a couple of things that you can do. So I'm going to go to the first clip, which is my drone shot here, and there's this little icon. It's called the color inspector, and so we're just going to do some basic adjustments here. And so you can adjust your color and all that, but we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to go over to your exposure, and this is just how the lighting of the video looks. And so the right hand side here are called your highlights, and that's going to affect the brightest part of your image. So if I want for example, if I want the brightest part of the image to be very bright, then I'm going to bring that up, but that's too bright. So usually what I do is just add it's called an S curve. So basically that's just raising your highlights slightly and bringing down your shadows. And so what that does is, it adds a little bit of contrast and it just makes it look a little bit better. So this is before, this is after. So already there, it's looking pretty cool. And then I'm just gonna bump up the saturation overall just to make the colors pop a little bit. So go over to saturation, and this what I'm moving right now is your master, so this is affecting the overall saturation. So let's bump that up to like 30, and that's before and that's after. So it's looking pretty cool. And then, so the way drones color video is different. So usually I would just like copy and paste these same settings over all the clips, but I'm not going to do that here. I'm going to go to the next clip and adjust that. So again, select the clip, go to exposure, let's bring up those highlights, make it a bit brighter, and then bring down the shadows. And I won't do it too much there. Usually the midtones are where we lie in the whole color spectrum. So and light spectrum. So I'm going to bump that up so Joanne's a little bit brighter. And then again, I'm going to increase the saturation, and that's looking pretty cool there. So that's before and that's after. I shot most of these clips with the same camera, so I'm going to apply this adjustment to a number of clips. So the way you do that is I'm just going to hit Command C when the clip is selected, Command C, and then I'm going to apply that to all of these, which were shot with my Sony camera. So select all those, and then I'm going to hit Command Shift V, and what that does, it brings up a menu where I can paste certain attributes. So what I want to do is look for color board. That's already selected, so I'm good there. Here you could choose what things to paste from certain clips. So it's a really useful tool. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit paste. What that did was apply what I did to this clip to all these other clips. So they're all kind of similar. And so this is another drone shot. So I'm going to go to my first drone shot, and the same thing, copy, and then I'm going to hit Command Shift V. And let's paste those attributes. And there it copied the first clip's attributes to this clip here. And that's with a color correction, without a color correction. So just small tweaking actually makes a huge difference. And so now this is totally a taste thing. And just to make it look a bit more dramatic, what I like to do is let's go over to another tab. It's called the Effect Browsers. And so the effect browser, you can add tons and tons of effects. If I want to make this look like a 50s TV show, I literally just drag it over to my clip. See, it says 50s TV, and there. But we really don't want that, so Command Z. What I'm looking for is something called letterbox. And so this is going to give me those famous bars that you see in movies like this. So those are small, so I'm going to increase it. So select the clip, go over to the video inspector, and then the aspect ratio I'll change to 235:1. So that just adds another cinematic effect to it. So I want this over all my clips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to hit Command C and then select all of them. And again, Command Shift V. So what I'm gonna do is deselect color board because I don't want it to copy the colors again. So uncheck that, and now it's just gonna apply the letterbox. So that's how that looks. So let's see how it looks with the letterbox. Oh, I forgot the music. So don't forget to bring your music back up. Just hit V. There you go.
It's the most turquoise water I've ever seen, guys.
Like the rainbow, it's calling me. Like the rainbow, the rainbow.
Not bad. It's pretty cool. And now that we have the video, you're gonna want to export it so you can show off to all your friends and family, or upload it to YouTube. So you're gonna look for the share button over here on the right hand corner, go down to export file, and because I have a 4K project, that's what I'm gonna select. You can always export it in 1080, which will be a smaller file, but I'm gonna go ahead and do 4K and hit next. And then, yeah, it's already named Travel Video Tutorial, and I'm going to export it to my hard drive. And once you hit save, then it'll start exporting. And then once it's finished exporting, you should see a little check over here, and then you can go into your hard drive, and there it is. And now it's ready to upload. So that's about it, guys. There's not really a whole lot to it at the beginning. Obviously, you can really dive deep into all the features and functions, but if you're trying to make a basic travel video, it's really not that difficult. I don't have any formal training, just learn from scratch. So if I can do it, you can definitely do it. Just a matter of dragging, dropping, blading, putting some music, adjusting the colors a little bit, and you have yourself a travel video. Obviously, they're gonna vary in length. You're gonna add some vlogging, some talking in between certain parts, but I just wanted to show you guys the basic principles, the basic tools that you need to edit a video. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. That's gonna be it for today. If you're not necessarily into video editing, maybe one of your friends are, share it with them, and maybe this will give them the short bit of inspiration they need to start. And thanks to all our subscribers out there for continuing to watch this channel. And if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Love ya.